Hi, I'm Joe. I'm an alcoholic. All of us here at White Chip hope that you've been enjoying our audiobooks and AA speakers. You are welcome to join our Facebook group. Just click the link in the description and say hello. If you support the Alcoholic Anonymous cause, please hit the like and subscribe button. We upload new AA content every day, so if you want to see more, hit the notifications button. This way, you'll be the first to know when we've uploaded a new video. Without further ado, let's listen to the next AA speaker.
Hey y'all! It's a great day. Now look, y'all think this is too much? Now just a second. I mean, you realize that I'm now sober, but is this too much? Is this pretty hip or what? Hey listen, I never have liked to stand behind anything that resembled a pulpit. Considering some of the things those clowns have been doing lately, no offense, some of them are real nice. Can I just take this off here and come down to where we can visit? Hi, that's better. Is that okay? All right. I'm very happy to be here today. When you consider some of the things I've done, I am glad to be anywhere alive. I really shouldn't be. For those of you who are not real familiar with the story, I'm going to tell you. It's real. Would you hold these, please, ma'am? Thank you very much. They messed up my coat when I put them in there. Okay. For those of you who are not big country music fans, do we have any country music fans? I mean, really? Well, I don't need to tell you all this story, right? Y'all know all this? Well, that's it for me. Thanks. No. I appreciate that introduction. That was nice. There were a couple things you left out. Well, when he introduced me, he says, Vern said, Larry Gatlin, star, and he has records and this and that. I'd like to reintroduce myself if I could. My name's Larry Gatlin. I'm an alcoholic. Thanks. We got a few people in this little program here I can see. My name's Larry Gatlin. I'm a drug addict. And my name's Larry Gatlin. I'm a compulsive gambler and just about anything you could mention. I've tried just about all of it. But by the grace of God and the help of the program in a hospital much like this one, I've been sober and straight for 1,280 some odd days, but who's counting, right? Me, that's it. And I want to visit with you just a little while. I don't have a lot of philosophy to tell you. I'm going to tell you what happened to me and what my life was like, and what changed it, and what it's like now. And then after it's all over, if you want to ask some questions, we'll do that. And I may sing a song. We'll go eat some punch, and drink some punch, and eat some cheese, and have a good time. Is that okay? It better be okay, because that's what I want to do. And I'm the one with the microphone, so. I did not start out my life to become an alcoholic. I didn't go down to the principal's office. Today, when kids are in school, they're sophomores or juniors, they usually go down to the office to the counselor, and they kind of open up that big book, and that, if the guy or the young lady wants to be a pharmacist, for instance, or a doctor, they'll say, well, now this is where you need to go to school. These are the subjects you need to take. And so, I didn't go down there under the A's and say, alcoholic, yeah, that's what I want to be. Let's try that, or skip through there to the D's for the drug addict. Say, yep, that's me. That's what I'm. That isn't the way it happens, folks. It's a much more subtle, insidious situation. So I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Are you taking pictures? Yeah. How am I doing? Okay? All right. And this guy's going to make this tape recorder, I guess, ghetto blaster right here. Okay. It didn't happen like that. I'm going to tell you exactly how it happened. One night when I was 16 years old, I was a quarterback on the football team, and I was down at a little drive-in. We used to have drive-ins. You youngsters don't know what a drive-in is, right? How many of us remember drive-ins? Weren't they cool? Yeah, dragging in your car, kind of circling around. I loved that part. That was neat. I was down there, and the captain of the football team, a guy named Skippy, came up to me and put his arm around me, and he said, Gatlin, tonight we're going to get you drunk. Well, you know what that means? You know what it meant to me? It meant tonight I'm going to get to be one of the guys. He was an upperclassman. He was a senior. I was a junior. He was the captain of the football team. He was a high school All-American. He was 6'1", weighed 253 pounds. And I was the quarterback at 5'8", 155. He could outrun me in the 50, the 100, the 220, the quarter, and the mile. He could outrun me from here to Tampa. You know, he outweighed me 50 pounds. He's the late Bear Bryant said he was the best best high school linebacker he'd ever seen play football. Well, here's the big star of the football team taking me under his wing, going to get me drunk. I was excited. That was great. I want to get to be one of the guys, right? So we commenced. We started trying this thing. We went over to a guy's house, and well, first of all, I told my mama I was going to Skippy's house, and Skippy told his mama he was going to my house to spend the night. And I know none of y'all have ever done that. We have honest program, right, lady? Okay. So we went over to this other house, and we commenced to try and get Gatlin drunk. We had a problem. I didn't like the taste of any of it. Really, the first thing we tried was this stuff called orange vodka. Well, that tasted like watered down Minute Maid or something. I mean, it was horrible. Then the next thing we tried was this stuff called cherry sloe gin. Well, I didn't have a cough. I didn't need cough syrup, you know. That was awful. Then we tried the old standby, cold beer. How many of you good folks remember your first taste of beer? Come on, let's be honest. Counselors? How many? Come on. Dr. Come on. Wasn't it great? Don't lie to me. Tastes like horse pee with a foam blown off. It's awful. Isn't that right? Let's be honest. It tastes awful. They take a bunch of grain, put some hot water on it, stick it somewhere over in the room and boil it a little more. Then they scrape the foam off the top of it, put it in this fancy brown bottle, and hire this little one-eyed dog named Spuzz McKenzie to tell you how good it tastes. Right? By the way, I'm hot about that. I think that's the most ridiculous commercial in the history of television, and I'm against it. I think it's awful. Every time I see an 11-year-old kid with a Spuzz McKenzie t-shirt on, I'm going to slap his mama. Because, see, Spuzz is lying to our kids. Right? Does anybody believe Spuzz can play the piano? I don't. And you know the more horrible question, which one of those three pretty girls is he going home with? That's a pretty sick ad. Now, I know it's funny, but that's pretty sick to me. That's a commercial endorsement. I'm saying I don't like it. I'll stop preaching. I'll get back to the story. I tried cold beer. It was awful. I didn't like that. If I couldn't get drunk on something, I can't drink more than 2 swallows of it. We finally found something I could drink. Catch this. We took a big iced tea tumbler, you know, big tall ones, and we filled it up half full with gin and topped it off with Dr. Pepper. Well, I downed a couple of those, and I puked for 2 hours. Right? I mean, it was the Technicolor yawn, you know, just... I mean, there was radishes in there and carrots. Oh, it was horrible. Just awful. And then I went in and laid down on the bed, and the room was going like this, you know. And right before I passed out, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm not making any of this up. This is God's truth. Skippy came in, and he looked down at me, and he said, Gatlin, you look just like my mother. And he kissed me on the forehead and passed out on top of me. I'm not making this up. Okay? Now, any normal, sane, right-thinking human being would realize this drinking deal just, it ain't all it's cracked up to be. Not me. I had it already. I had the disease already, I guess. Predisposed to have it. I kept thinking, you know, I'll learn how to drink, and tomorrow, as I get older, I won't, I won't get sick, and I won't have spinning around. I should have known there was something wrong. First of all, I had to lie to my mom. Right? Now, I know you youngsters here, how old are you? 12, I know you're smarter than your mama. All of us at 12, 13, 14, we're all smarter than our moms, right? But you know, she's still your mom, right? Not supposed to lie to mom. Mama went through a lot to get you here, right? Fun part lasted a little while. The hard part lasted about 9 months, you know? Went through a whole lot to get you here and take care of you. You're not supposed to lie to your mama. That's the first thing I did wrong. Second thing. Come in, girl. It's all right. I didn't like the taste of it. It's horrible. Third thing, it made me sick. The fourth thing, it made a guy who outweighed me over 100 pounds kiss me on the forehead and pass out on top of me. Now, I know that some of you folks think we entertainers are a little weird. Right? Pink glasses and red boots and all. And I am a little weird. But I'm going to be honest with you. One of the things in my life that I'm not crazy about is having guys pass out on top of me. Even in football, the object of the game is not to let the big guys fall on you. Right? You're supposed to run around them. Outrun them. I should have known there was something wrong, but it didn't dawn on me. So I kept drinking. I was only 16 years old. At 18, I went to college at the University of Houston on a football scholarship. And I continued my experiments with drugs and alcohol. I kept drinking beer mostly. And in college, I started experimenting with some other drugs. I tried this drug called marijuana. How many of you remember your first joint? Come on, don't be honest. All right. I never was a real big dope smoker because marijuana really slowed me down, you know. Plus, I could see my words coming out of my mouth, and they came out backwards, you know. Really weird things. Plus, after we get through smoking dope, we go down to the 7-Eleven and say something like this, we need about 500 or 600 packages of Cheetos and maybe 300 or 400 cans of bean dip and 20 or 30 cases of beer. Just 3 or 4 of us are kind of hungry. The munchies, right? Never did like smoking dope a whole lot. I tried this other stuff called little white crosses. A friend of mine, y'all know about those? It's Dexedrine, amphetamines. A friend of mine came here one night and said, Gatlin, we have got to study for this test. We have a big test tomorrow. Take 2 of these, drink 2 cups of coffee. We're going to study all night for this test. Anybody ever tried to study on speed? I read Gone with the Wind in 12 minutes. And it was a biology test I was studying for. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Well, after college, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. And within 2 or 3 weeks of my arrival in Nashville, I was thrown into the company and started hanging out with some of the most incredible, wonderful, talented singer, songwriter, musician, drug addicts that you've ever seen in your life. Every one of them. If I call their names off, they're all famous singers, all famous songwriters. You know every one of them. We thought what we were supposed to do, George. Hi. How you doing? We thought what we were supposed to do was sit around in somebody's house or sit around in a hotel room and take dope and get drunk and get loaded and be real philosophical and write all these wonderful songs while the rest of the world was going to hell in a handbasket. We were cool. We were intelligent. We had some seriously high IQs, you know? We were witty, clever, glib, cute, famous, loaded. That's what we were. Because we thought that's what you were supposed to do. Expanding your consciousness with marijuana. How many of y'all heard that marijuana is a mind expanding? I mean, you can really mind, it expands your mind, and you can really get into yourself, and you can really learn. I want to ask you something, folks, and just think of something with me just a second. It may be mind expanding, but wouldn't you just love to go to the dentist? You got one little cavity back here, and he's going to just fill this one little cavity. I mean, wouldn't you love to be sitting in there, and in comes Dr. Jones and says, well, open up, let's take a look at what you got in there, huh? Oh, I believe we can fix that. Maybe we can work on a couple more over there. I mean, his mind may be expanded, but I don't want him in my mouth with a drill. How about it? We might have been expanding our minds. I doubt that. The doc knows more about all the real chemical ramifications of it. I know one thing. I never wrote a great song when I was loaded. Never did. Puts the right side of your brain to sleep. Is that close enough, Doc? Where the emotions are. Where your feelings are. Puts them to sleep. Anesthetizes. Go look it up. Puts them to sleep. Screws them up. Okay? Chemicalizes them. Makes them not work like somebody up there or out there or in there or somewhere meant for them to work. We thought we were supposed to do it. I read an article in the New York Times 11 years ago on the front page. It said cocaine is not physically addictive. New York Times is supposed to be the best newspaper in the United States. Probably is. Only 11 short years ago, I read an article, cocaine is not physically addictive. See, we thought it was okay. We thought you could do it. You won't get hooked. You'll be okay. Let me tell you folks about something about drugs. I'll make this real quick. In the time since that article, they've done numerous tests with chimpanzees, monkeys, laboratory animals. They decided to addict these monkeys to a lot of things that we human beings like and kind of test them and observe them and look at them. They put a monkey in a cage. They're going to addict him to alcohol, okay? Now, they didn't teach him to order a scotch and water, right? I mean, they just put a little tube in his brain, put a little lever in there, and every time he presses the lever, they'd shoot a little alcohol in there. So they got him hooked on alcohol. They got another monkey here, and they addicted him to Valium. And some of you are saying, now, wait a minute, don't talk about my mama. She takes Valium. I'm not talking about your mama. I'm talking about Valium, the most overprescribed, addictive, prescription drug, one of them that you can buy. So I'm not talking about your mama, I'm just talking about Valium. They press the little lever, the little monkey would, and it shoots Valium up his brain. So they got him hooked. Then they got one to nicotine. Right? The Surgeon General just finally said, 2-3 weeks ago that nicotine is addictive? How many of y'all tried to stop smoking lately? Okay, how addictive is it? We won't go into that. They didn't teach this monkey to go over to the cigarette machine and put quarters in there and get him a pack of Marlboros, right? He pressed the lever and they shot a little nicotine. So you get the picture. Heroin, same deal. Cocaine, same deal. Marijuana, same deal. Sex. They addicted the monkey to sex. Yeah. He just presses a little lever and they just sent a little girl monkey in there. It was a dirty job, but somebody had to do it, right? So they did all it. Then they pulled a dirty trick on them. They decided to take all these things away and see how they reacted. So, what was the first one? Alcohol. He pressed the lever. Nothing happened. He pressed it again. They didn't get him. He pressed the lever about 20 or 30 times. It sounds like he wants it pretty bad. He's addicted. They didn't give it to him. He went back in the cage and started going through DTs, through withdrawal. Valium. Now, press the lever. Press the lever. About 40 or 50 times. More addicted. You see what I'm getting at? Very addicted. And some of you are saying, well, my doctor gives it to me. Thank God for physicians. Thank God for them. As my doctor in the care unit, Dr. Joe Persh, told me, Letty, he's Yugoslavian, he talks funny. He said, Letty, is that close? He said, Letty, I asked him, I said, why don't you tell the American Medical Association what you know about drugs? He said, they don't believe me. He said, the first place you must realize it is probably between 20 and 30% of physicians in America are drug addicts themselves. Thank God for your family doctor. Okay? I've got one at home. Just because the doctor gives it to you doesn't mean it's good for you. Okay? Use a little common sense. Valium, very addictive. What was the next one? I forgot. Nicotine. Press the lever. They didn't give. He pressed the lever 50 or 60 times, more than for Valium and for booze. Nicotine, very addictive. Heroin. You know what he did? He pressed the lever about 15 or 20 times and went and sat down. Doesn't sound like it's as addictive even as cigarette. Got to cocaine. Is that where we are? I forgot. Cocaine. He pressed the lever. He pressed the lever. He pressed it again. Pressed it. 38,000 times. Sounds like it's pretty addictive to me. I read in the New York Times it's not addictive. Young people, and you old fogies too, if anybody tries to tell you that cocaine is not addictive, that's crap all. Okay? Probably the most addictive drug on our planet. But I read where it was addictive. One night in Las Vegas, Nevada, 10 years ago, a friend of mine was working at a big hotel. He asked me to come by and see him. So I went to see him and went to visit, and I was in the backstage dressing room. He had just done a show. I was in the backstage dressing room, and I was down in the living room area of the dressing room, and he and another guy were back in the kind of where the closets in the restroom were. And I was standing down there having a beer or something, and I heard this. I looked around. They came out of the room in a minute. They were walking like this. They're going. This guy knows. They were ready. I don't know what they were ready for, but they were ready. I said, what were y'all doing right there? He told me, he said, well, we just did a little bump. I said, you did what? He said, we just did a line. I said, what? He said, we snorted some cocaine, dummy. Do you want some? I said, yes. And for the first time, I put cocaine into my body. You know what happened? I loved it. All right, young folks, if you're here today, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I didn't like it or it made me sick. I loved it the first time. You know what happened the second time? I loved it. And the third time, I loved it. And the fourth. And for the better part of the next 2 or 3 years, I loved it. And then something happened. I started making enough money to buy a lot of it. Another thing happened. I stopped doing it. It stopped doing me. And for about 4 or 5 years, my life became absolute living hell. I told my daughter one day, Kristen, I love you more than anything in the world. That was a lie. Because Daddy was on his way out the door to go to New York City and lock himself in a hotel room for 6 days and snort cocaine. I told my daughter a lie. My disease made me lie to my child and to my wife and to my parents and to fans and to people doing interviews with me. And most of all, it made me lie to Larry. I didn't know what was happening. It was unbelievably horrible. I spent God knows how much money. More important than that, I stole time from my wife and my kids. What happened? One day, December 2nd, 1984, I was crawling around in the floor of a hotel room in Dallas, Texas, picking up lint off the floor and putting it in a freebase pipe. You see, when you cook cocaine down, it looks kind of like lint or gum or what. in the condition I was in, I'd have tried to put this in there if I thought I could smoke it. Here's some more cocaine. Let's put that in there. You know. That's how sick I was. I crawled into the restrooms looking for dope. See, a horrible thing had happened. We had run out. You see, we'd been to the 24-hour teller and got all the money we could get. These good friends of mine that I was doing, I'd known them 3 hours. I mean, we were tired, close, brothers, sick, broke, out of dope, druggies. Is exactly what we were. And I crawled into the restroom and I accidentally looked up in the mirror and I was shocked. I saw the sickest, most hopeless, helpless, lonely, scared, tired human being I've ever seen. Lay down. While I was on my knees, right there, I said, God, if you don't help me, I'm going to die. And folks, this Sunday, we all got our nice clothes on. Happy Father's Day, guys. I'm not going to preach to you. I'm not telling you got to be a Baptist or a Christian or a Methodist or a Catholic or you have to go to synagogue or, anything else. That's not my job. I'm going to tell you what I had to do. I had to say, God, if you don't help me, I'm going to die. And that's what I said. And God did help me. I went home. Somehow I got home to Nashville with the help of the bartender from the Admirals Club in Dallas, Texas, believe it or not. I had no money. I told the cab driver who I was, and he recognized me. He said, you can send it back. I spent it all on dope. I had not one penny in my pocket. I started 3 days earlier with 5,000 American dollars. I got home, realized I had to have help, and I called a friend of mine named Darrell Royal. He was the football coach at the University of Texas for about 20 years, one of my dearest friends. He had offered before to help me, and I turned it down. I told him I could do this on my own. So I called Darrell and I said, let's go. It's time. And he took me to a hospital. I started saying much like this one, but it's not even close. Man, this is the Waldorf Astoria compared to this joint I went to. And I checked in. Let me tell you what happened. I went in there and I went to sleep, and the next day I got up and I looked in the restroom, and there wasn't a shower. There was just a sink and a commode. So I went down the hall to the nurse's station. I said, there's some kind of mistake. I said, I'm Larry Gallen. I wanted the deluxe, accommodations. I don't even have a shower. She said, the shower's down the hall. I said, you mean we all like shower together and stuff? She said, yes. I said, no, I want the first class room. I'll pay for it. She said, this is it. I said, I'm a star. I was in a $1,000 a night hotel room last night. She said, you're not a star here. You're just a drug addict. So I paddled my little ass right down the hall. I went to shower. Okay? And I soon learned there are no millionaires in a lifeboat. Right? You don't do stuff like, how much money you got? You go, shut up and row, turkey. Okay? Ain't nobody famous in a lifeboat. You're all in there together. If you don't row, you go down. So, I began right then to realize that if I was going to stay alive, I had to go down there and shower with the rest of them, common old street druggies. I realized I had better start doing what they told me to do. And I did. I began right then. I'll never forget my third day in group therapy. Went around the room, got 10 or 12 people talking, and finally got to me. And I said, all right, I said, I worked all 12 of them damn steps this morning. Why don't I feel better? My counselor said, just try step 1 for a couple of weeks. Get back with us. So I shut up and I decided to try step 1. I'm powerless over drugs and alcohol, and my life is completely unmanageable. I'm powerless over Haagen-Dazs. I'm powerless over socks. Can you believe anybody's hooked on socks? I'm addicted to socks. I had 3 pairs of socks when I was a kid. I could not go into J.C. Penney's and pass the tube socks without buying a dozen. I'm serious. You know what tube socks? That confuse anybody? White tube socks. Right there. Cute, huh? Because see, oh, you didn't get a shot at it? Go ahead. See, because my mama went to J.C. Penney's and bought those black nylon jobs that scrape my toenails going down in them. You know, it was like scraping the chalk on the floor. I couldn't stand that, so I'm hooked on socks. I started doing what they told me. By the grace of God, I've stayed sober 1,200 some odd days. And I'm thankful for places like this, for people like these, and the counselors who are going to be working with those folks. You know what? Some of you are sitting there right out here on these interstates. There are people today driving automobiles that will go 140 miles an hour, and they are loaded. You have a drug problem. There are truck drivers on the road between Miami, Florida and Orlando, Florida today who have taken those amphetamines that I was talking about, and they don't know the difference between a tin can and a Volkswagen. If you happen to be in that Volkswagen when you think it's a tin can, you have a serious drug problem. I'm thankful, and you should be thankful that your community has a place like this with people who care about what's going on, who want to get people well. My doctor told me something, Dr. Percy. He said, Eddie, your problem is not drugs and alcohol, your problem is you. But he also told me that if I would do what he and the others told me to do, go to these damn little old meetings about once a week, read that darn old book, that although I wouldn't get well, he said I could get weller than well. And I'll never forget what he told me. And I've tried to live that way. One story. Back in the 19th century, 18th century, I don't know when, I guess we'll go look it up. A long time ago, let's put it that way. There was a famous composer named Felix Mendelssohn. Wrote beautiful music. He was walking down the streets of a town somewhere in Europe, and he heard this beautiful organ music coming out of the cathedral. And he walked in, and he saw the church organist up there, and it was just the most beautiful pipe organ he'd ever seen in his life. And he walked up to the organist, and he said, "Sir," the organist was finishing and was locking the organ. He said, could I possibly play that organ? Could I just sit down and play for 5 minutes?" The guy said, "No, I couldn't possibly let you do that. I'm responsible for this instrument. I couldn't possibly do that." So he continued to lock it up. Mendelssohn said, "Please, just let me sit down for 5 minutes and play." And he finally talked him into it. He gave him the keys, and he opened the organ and rolled back the top and began to play. And he played the most beautiful music that this church organist had ever heard. And the guy sat back in awe as Felix Mendelssohn began to play this music. And finally, in a few minutes, Mendelssohn stopped, pulled the cover back down, and locked it up and handed the guy the keys. And the local organist said, he was almost in tears. He said, "I've never in my life heard anything like it." He said, "I've been playing organ for 30 years. I've never heard anything like that. It's the most beautiful music I've ever heard. Who are you?" Felix Mendelssohn said, "I'm Mendelssohn." And the man gasped. He said, "Dear God," he said, "just think. I had the master here, and I almost didn't let him have the keys." You know, I had to turn over the keys, folks. My way of doing it just didn't work very well. My best thinking got me in a care unit, hooked on alcohol, drugs, Valium, Percodan, everything you can take. That's when I was trying to direct the show. When I had enough sense, or when I was tired enough or sick enough or whatever to turn the keys over to something higher, something bigger than myself, I've been okay for 1,289 days. Larry, do you have problems? Sure, I have problems. My record just lost a bulletin billboard last week at number 4. For those of you who don't know anything about music, that means the record's going to start going down. That's a problem. You know what? I didn't have a drink over it. I didn't drug over it. When I came out of the care unit, I was $2 million in debt. But I didn't have a drink over it. Didn't have a drug over it. Somehow, whoever it is up there has almost got us out of debt. It's a wonderful way of life. And I'm really thankful to God that I'm alive. I'm thankful to God that I'm here. If you have a problem in your family, if you have a problem yourself, this place is here for you. It works, folks. Don't say, oh, you don't know my situation, it won't work for me. Let me tell you something. If I can do it, the German Shepherd can do it. It's that easy, okay? And it'll work for you too. I did real good. Give me a hand. How about it? Am I over time? We have 5 minutes or so. Anybody want to ask? We'll ask 5 or 6 questions. I'll sing you a song. We'll go eat, drink lunch. Yes, ma'am.
Is your family aware of your problem?
My wife knew something was wrong, and I denied it. You know, denial is the first symptom of this disease. She hung in there, and we're still together. We're happy. We've got her on a honeymoon, and I thank God for her. And the kids are very aware of what's happening. It has opened up the lines of communication in our family. They went to a family seminar, that we had about the 3rd week of treatment. I'll be right. Yep.
What happened to your brothers?
And my brothers. Well, Brother Rudy won't mind if I break his anonymity. He is in this little program too. And he came out to California. I called him and said, we got a bed out here for you, partner. He said, oh, I ain't that bad. I just have a little fun every now and then. But when he came out to treatment to do family with me, he realized that he had a problem. Brother Steve is in another support group, and everybody's fine. What's wrong, dear? You're frowning.
I just think they thought that way.
You didn't think they were that way? You thought I was the only scoundrel? He runs in families, man. It's like they told me, I wasn't a bad guy trying to get good. I was a sick guy trying to get well. So it's pretty much a universal truth. This gentleman wants to know if I still regularly attend AA meetings. If you're here from the press, hi. If you would delete this part, I would appreciate it. As I understand it, there is one of the precepts that Alcoholics Anonymous is based on is the anonymity at the level of press, radio, and TV, and I have maintained that. If people ask me that, I will tell you here today, yes, I go to my AA meetings. I have 2 meetings I go to at home. I go to meetings out when I'm on the road. On television or radio, I just say I meet with some friends and we talk over some things. But if it were not for Alcoholics Anonymous, I'd be dead. So yes, I do go. Now you can turn it back on. I told that lady I did. You turn your camera back on, dear. It's okay. No, I'm up here. Hey. Are you a big star? What are you taking pictures of her, lady? I'm the star. Turn around. Oh. Go ahead. What happened to the sex monkey? I knew somebody did that. The sex monkey. Well, he stole the drugs and ran off with a girl monkey. What would you do? If given the choice between female companionship and cocaine, which one do you think he chose? 9 out of 10 times cocaine. Now, boys, let me talk to you a minute. Okay, guys? Are you fathers here? You show me something that is stronger, more powerful, and more wonderful than the companionship of a female. That's some addictive stuff there, cowboys. Right? Okay. Good question. I told this guy that.
Just, have you had to get new peers in your business that you're in? I know that in this business that it's, prominent to do drugs and alcohol, and it's just nature of the beast.
They told me I was going to have to change my playmates and my playground. That's what I did. I stopped hanging out with druggies. I stopped hanging out with dope addicts, drug dealers. I still have some of the same friends, but if I walk into your house and you're doing dope, I'll just leave because I don't want to be around it. It scares me. It is prevalent. I think there's obviously an attitude, thanks to Nancy Reagan and Len Bias. Bless his heart, Len Bias had to die before we'd realize that a man in peak condition of his life at 21 years old could freebase cocaine the first time and die from it. You see? So I think there's an attitude of people turning away from that. A lot of people in the entertainment business have stopped, have gotten into these kinds of programs. In fact, two of the guys of the five I was talking about that I first started running around with, two of those, sometimes three, he's not sure what kind of program he's in. Good Lord. This lady is still confused about who we're here to see. These are what we call cutaways, sir. Just smile and okay. But I'd rather run around. I love running around with drunks. I want them to be sober drunks in a 12-step program sometime. I'll run around with them a lot. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry? I have a Sunday school class called Alcoholics Anonymous that I go to every Sunday morning. And I'm not against church. My folks go to church. I'm a Christian. But being a Christian didn't keep me from being a drug addict. Okay? It is very much a part of my life, and that is my personal belief. I never shove that down anybody's throat. And I told God and His boy, Jesus, in there, as I believe, in the room a while ago before I came out, I said, God, help me not to go out there and preach to these people on Sunday about Jesus. It is God as you understanding. My understanding of a higher power includes Christ, and if yours doesn't, that's for you to decide and not me. But that's what helped me stay sober. Yes, ma'am.
So many people have misconception that marijuana, being addicted or use marijuana, is not good for them. What can monkeys do on marijuana?
Oh, monkeys are crazy anyway. But, he pressed the lever many times. The doctors can tell you more clinically, obviously, than I can about the chemical compound that is in there. It is a very seriously addictive drug. Withdrawal from it emotionally, it takes a long time, first of all, for the toxins to get assimilated out of your body. But you find me a dope smoker telling me he can't have any today, he's going to get pretty freaky. One more, and then I'll sing you a song and we'll do something else. Yes, ma'am.
I have a son that I think are using drugs, and I wonder as a parent, what can you do?
The lady's asked the question of the day. She has a son who she's losing to drugs. What can she do? This is an honest program, man. If your boy had a rattlesnake in his hand, you'd go knock it out. You'd go try to get something and knock it out of his hand. It'll kill him just as surely, maybe not as quickly. You walk up to, what's his name? David, I love you. David, you're sick. David, you need help, and I will help you. I know, denial is the first symptom of the disease. There are places to go, support groups for mamas. See, you're not the first mama who's faced this, okay? And these good people right over here want to help you. And this hospital is here for your boy. I know it is the problem of our age. People, we have lied to our kids. It's very hard to go back and tell them the truth now because we've lied to them for years. We told them it was all right to drive 70 in the 55-mile-an-hour zone if you didn't get caught. Now it's hard to tell them the truth and go because they don't want to hear it anymore. I feel for you, and you're doing the right thing. Okay? I would suggest you go to those groups. I would suggest when we get through here that you talk to one of these people who are trained in this. There are things called interventions. You get 6 or 8 people that David knows can have no doubt that really love him and care about him, and you sit down in a room and you say, David, we love you. We're going to take you someplace to help you. And that's the last course. That's the last thing you do. But hey, if it's killing him, what are you going to do? Let him die? I don't think Mama wants to do that. Okay? There are probably some folks here today who have heard your story. They'll probably say a little prayer for you. I know I will on the way out. And it's amazing what that stuff does. Prayer works a lot of times. Yes, sir.
You have a lot of stuff I don't. What's your greatest impression?
I'm what? Impressive. Well, thank you, sir. You are too. Well, I appreciate that. I'm going to tell you something. I never had one fan. I was afraid when I got out of the hospital somebody was going to come up and say, well, I ain't going to buy your records anymore. You're just an old doper. I didn't have one person, not one in the 3.5 years that I've been sober. Not one time has anybody even said anything close to that. I've had nothing but support. I feel like I'm the most fortunate human being on the face of the earth. And, ma'am, the good thing about it is this disease used to be fatal every time, you know? And the wonderful thing about it is it's not anymore. There are places to go. Your boy doesn't have to die a druggie. People don't have to die in the gutter or in mansions in Orlando, Florida because nobody cares. That's not true. There are people who care, and there's a way out of the trap. Like I say, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Let me sing a song, and I'll turn it back over to whoever I turn it over to. Where's my guitar? Did y'all have fun? I had fun. Well, okay, this is going to be short. Usually I charge people $22,000 to hear this, but you're getting it free. All the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. It's somebody else's name. So if you're dreaming, come in, band, out to California, it don't matter at all where you played before. California's a brand new game. Trying to be a hero, winding up a zero. Can't scar a man forever, right down to your soul. Living on the spotlight can kill a man outright, 'cause everything that glitters is not gold, and all the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. It's somebody else's name. So if you're dreaming about California, it don't matter at all where you played before. California's a brand new game. Don't change keys, y'all singing now. Here we go. All the gold in California, in a bank in the middle of Beverly. Sound like a Church of Christ revival, doesn't it? If you're dreaming about California, it don't matter at all where you played before. California's a brand new game. Big finish now, you're on television. A brand new game. I love you, God love you. Thank you.
I had this list of closing remarks, but I think we're going to skip. I don't think I can top that. there's a message in that that was so true and so powerful that in point of fact, he's right. I can't top that. And I hope that everybody here got the gist of that message. Whether it's a problem that a person is having themselves, or it's someone that you know that has that problem, the reason that we are here now in this community is to address ourselves to that. We have the professionals on board who can address those and psychiatric problems, and we're here to do that, and we're happy to do that. We're not happy that a person should ever have to have those problems. But we want you to know that if you ever do have that kind of a problem, that's what we're here for. We're here to help, and we're determined to do just that. We're about to have a ceremony now, a ribbon cutting ceremony, that will signal the opening of our facility. Tomorrow, bright and early tomorrow morning, we'll start the business of admitting patients. We have an inpatient and outpatient program. There will be free assessments to those programs, those people who are having a problem or know of people who are having that problem. So without any further ado, or without trying to tell Larry's message, I'd like us to now proceed to the front where we will be having a ribbon cutting ceremony, and after that, there will be guided tours through the facility so you can get an idea of
your thoughts. So you see, the choice lies with you, and the assistance lies within. The only thing you find anywhere in the outer world is support. And that's all God's world is for. At this time of year, New Year's, there's a tremendous amount of creative energy moving in the direction of new choices. And if you wish, you can tap into the spirit of that energy and have it for assistance to move you in that direction. There's a tremendous potential available to you if you will tap into it right now of assistance for making new choices in your life. There's only one purpose for spiritual teachings, and that's for you to understand that. To move out of the tools of the ego, to move out of the fear, to move out of the anger, to move out of the condemnation, to move out of the hatred, and into joy. Joy, which is the infallible sign of the awareness of the presence of God. God is always present in every experience. He was there first. And if you will simply be aware of that every moment, then you will be in joy continuously. Even when you're getting kicked. You can be in joy. If you choose that as your reality. The ego would rather lay the responsibility on the outer world. It's been said that 2% of people think, 18% think they think, and the rest would rather die than think. Think about it. Have you ever thought? Or have you just cycled information in your computer, the same old thoughts? There's a whole therapy called family therapy based on going back and looking at generations and interviewing everybody that knew your family. Mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, great-grandmother, great-grandfather, and finding out as much as you can. You know what most everybody finds out who goes through that? They find out they're living the same way as 2 or 3 or 4 generations ago. They're doing the same things. They're motivated by the same desires. They live and think the same thoughts. They create the same reality. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to become conscious co-creators with the divine, to move beyond that automatic, habitual level. To think that you can motivate people to make those kinds of changes and become awakened spiritually through fear, through guilt, through manipulation is simply one more of those subtle twists that the ego gives, that the devil gives, that Satan gives, that makes it look like it's going to work. It's time to move out of those energies because they are strictly of the ego. They're strictly of the carnal self, and move into the other energies, those of joy, those of God. I hope your new year will be a year of new choices and new realities for you. is tremendously practical and very real. I hope this year is a joyful one for you. Just live your divinity and be divine. Thank you.